In a world increasingly defined by uncertainty, individualism, and existential questioning, existentialism has become a vital philosophical movement that continues to resonate deeply with people seeking to understand the nature of existence, freedom, and the meaning of life. One of the most influential figures in this tradition is Jean-Paul Sartre, a French philosopher, playwright, and novelist who revolutionized existential thought in the 20th century. For Sartre, life is not about discovering a predetermined meaning, but about creating meaning through our actions, choices, and the exercise of freedom. This view challenges traditional religious, metaphysical, and philosophical understandings of life's purpose, which often rely on external sources of meaning. The heart of Sartre's existentialism is encapsulated in his famous claim, "Existence precedes essence." According to Sartre, human beings are born without inherent purpose, and only through living, acting, and making choices do they come to define who they are. This view stands in stark contrast to the more traditional belief that life's meaning is given by a higher power such as God, or by an inherent essence within human nature. In this episode, we will explore Sartre's existentialist philosophy, focusing on how it addresses the question of the meaning of life. We will delve into Sartre's key philosophical concepts, including freedom, responsibility, and bad faith, to understand how he answers this age-old question. Additionally, we will critically examine the implications of Sartre's philosophy, including criticisms of his view on existential freedom and the subjective nature of meaning. Ultimately, this essay will explore how Sartre's philosophy offers a powerful and provocative way of understanding the meaning of life in a modern post-religious world. Sartre and existentialism, key concepts. Existentialism as a philosophical movement emerged in the early 20th century, deeply influenced by the works of Søren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Martin Heidegger. Sartre, however, gave existentialism its most definitive form, articulating a philosophy that rejected metaphysical explanations and focused on the lived experience of individuals. For Sartre, existentialism is primarily concerned with the individual's freedom, the creation of meaning, and the anxiety that comes with realizing the lack of any predetermined essence. Sartre's most famous dictum, "Existence precedes essence," captures the core of his existentialist philosophy. Traditionally, many philosophers argued that human beings have an essence, something inherent about our nature or purpose that defines us before we are born. For example, religious thinkers might argue that God created human beings with a divine purpose. Sartre, however, challenges this idea. He suggests that humans are born without any predetermined essence or purpose. Instead, individuals must create their essence through the choices they make and the actions they take in life. In Sartre's view, we are not born with a given purpose. We define ourselves through the way we live. Central to Sartre's philosophy is the idea that humans are radically free. Because there is no inherent essence or predetermined meaning, each individual is responsible for creating their own life narrative. For Sartre, freedom is not a mere abstract concept. It is a fundamental aspect of human existence. However, this freedom is also a burden. Sartre famously says, "Man is condemned to be free." This means that although we have the freedom to act and choose, we are also burdened with the responsibility that comes with this freedom. There is no external authority such as a god or a set of moral laws that can relieve us from the weight of our decisions. Bad faith, mauvaise foi. Another key concept in Sartre's existentialism is bad faith, or mauvaise foi. Bad faith refers to the self-deception or inauthenticity that people engage in when they deny their freedom and responsibility. In bad faith, individuals deceive themselves to avoid the anxiety and dread that comes with recognizing their radical freedom. For example, someone might convince themselves that they have no choice but to conform to societal expectations or follow a rigid role such as a doctor or parent without questioning the nature of these roles. Sartre sees this as a form of cowardice, as it involves denying the truth of one's freedom and the responsibility to define oneself. In contrast to bad faith, Sartre advocates for living authentically. Authenticity means acknowledging one's freedom and taking responsibility for one's actions. An authentic individual is one who recognizes that they are the creators of their own identity, choosing how to live and what values to hold. Authenticity involves confronting the anguish of freedom and accepting that we are the sole architects of our lives, free from the constraints of societal expectations or divine orders. Sartre's existentialism is deeply influenced by phenomenology, particularly the work of Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger. Sartre adopted phenomenology's emphasis on subjective experience, focusing on the lived experience of consciousness. Sartre explored how human consciousness is always intentional, meaning it is always directed toward something, whether it be a person, an idea, or an object. This intentionality highlights the active nature of consciousness. We are always engaged in the world, constantly making choices that define our existence. Sartre's phenomenology thus forms the foundation of his exploration of human freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning. Sartre on the meaning of life. For Sartre, the central question of existentialism is the meaning of life. His answer to this question is stark. Life has no inherent meaning or purpose. In a universe without God or any predefined essence, humans must create their own meaning through their choices and actions. Sartre's view that life lacks inherent meaning is deeply existential. According to Sartre, the universe is indifferent to human existence. It does not provide us with a predetermined purpose. Sartre's atheism plays a significant role in this view. Unlike philosophers who believe that life's meaning could be derived from a divine source or a metaphysical order, Sartre insists that there is no ultimate meaning beyond the world we inhabit. Human beings must confront this absurdity, the realization that there is no higher power or cosmic plan. This absence of meaning, while unsettling, also offers freedom. Without a predetermined purpose, humans have the opportunity and the responsibility to create their own meaning. Although life is inherently meaningless, Sartre argues that meaning can still be created through action. For Sartre, meaning is not something we discover, but something we make through our choices. Every action we take is a reflection of our values and beliefs, and it is through these choices that we define ourselves. We are not born with a set purpose. Instead, we come to know ourselves through the decisions we make and the lives we lead. For example, a person who chooses to dedicate their life to helping others is creating meaning through their actions, just as someone who pursues art, philosophy, or business is doing the same. The choices may differ, but the process of choosing and committing to an authentic path gives life meaning. Sartre recognizes that this freedom to create meaning can provoke anguish or anxiety. The realization that there is no higher meaning or purpose can be deeply unsettling. Anguish arises when individuals confront the full weight of their freedom and responsibility. Sartre describes this anxiety as a recognition that we are alone in the world, that we must act without relying on external guidance or moral absolutes. However, Sartre does not see this anguish as something to be avoided. In fact, he believes that embracing this anxiety is essential for living authentically. To accept the freedom to create meaning in our lives is to confront the inherent responsibility that comes with it. This is a difficult but liberating realization. The responsibility for meaning, for making life significant, rests solely on us. Sartre's existentialism also reflects traditional religious explanations of life's meaning. For Sartre, religious beliefs are forms of bad faith, where individuals deceive themselves into believing in a higher purpose or a divine plan to escape the anxiety of freedom. Instead of relying on religious narratives to explain life's purpose, Sartre insists that we must confront the absurdity of life and take full responsibility for creating our own meaning. This atheistic view is radical because it removes any external justification for life's purpose, leaving human beings to find meaning in their own subjective experience. Freedom, responsibility, and ethics in Sartre's existentialism. Sartre's philosophy emphasizes the radical freedom of human beings, but this freedom comes with a tremendous sense of responsibility. In Sartre's view, individuals are not merely free to choose, but are also responsible for the choices they make. Sartre's famous phrase, "Man is condemned to be free," underscores the weight of this freedom. Freedom for Sartre is not an easy or liberating condition. It is a burden. Every individual is responsible for their own actions, and by making choices, they are also defining their essence. Sartre suggests that this responsibility can be overwhelming, as it places the entire burden of existence on the individual. There is no one to blame for the choices we make. They are entirely our responsibility. Since Sartre denies any universal moral framework or divine law, ethics in his philosophy are not absolute, but are shaped by individual choice. In a world without a higher moral authority, each person must create their own ethical system, based on their freedom and responsibility. Sartre suggests that when we choose for ourselves, we are also implicitly choosing for all of humanity. By making decisions, we express values that we believe should be universal. For Sartre, this means that authentic actions are those that take responsibility for the world. Ethical behavior is not about following prescribed rules, but about acting in ways that reflect a genuine commitment to freedom, authenticity, and personal responsibility. Sartre introduces the idea of bad faith to highlight the human tendency to deny responsibility. In bad faith, individuals make excuses or conform to external expectations to avoid confronting the full weight of their freedom. Living in bad faith is, for Sartre, the opposite of living authentically. Authenticity means embracing freedom and the responsibility that comes with it, refusing to hide behind societal roles or self-deceptions. Criticisms and limitations of Sartre's existentialism. Despite its powerful insights, Sartre's existentialism has faced significant criticism. One major critique of Sartre's philosophy is that it can lead to nihilism. If life has no inherent meaning, then what's the point of anything? Critics argue that Sartre's view of the meaninglessness of existence may promote a sense of despair or apathy. Without any objective meaning, some might argue that nothing truly matters. Sartre counters this critique by emphasizing that humans are free to create their own meaning through action, even in the face of absurdity. Another criticism of Sartre's emphasis on radical individualism is that it leads to alienation. By focusing on the individual's responsibility to create meaning, Sartre's philosophy may overlook the importance of community and human connection. Critics argue that Sartre's existentialism could result in a sense of isolation or loneliness, as individuals are left to navigate the world without any shared collective meaning. Sartre's rejection of universal moral principles has also led to critiques of ethical relativism. By allowing each individual to define their own values, Sartre's existentialism seems to lack a firm ethical foundation. If morality is entirely subjective, it could be argued that there is no objective standard for right and wrong. Sartre himself admits that existentialism does not provide a universal moral code, but rather, it challenges individuals to act in ways that reflect their authentic selves. Sartre's existentialism offers a provocative and challenging perspective on the meaning of life. In a world without inherent purpose, Sartre insists that human beings must create their own meaning through their choices, actions, and commitments. His focus on radical freedom, responsibility, and the rejection of external authorities forces individuals to confront the reality of their existence and the anxiety that comes with it. Despite its challenges, Sartre's existentialism provides a rich framework for understanding the human condition. By emphasizing authenticity and the creation of personal meaning, Sartre's philosophy encourages individuals to live consciously, without relying on external definitions of purpose. While critics argue that Sartre's existentialism leads to nihilism, alienation, and ethical relativism, his focus on freedom and responsibility continues to offer powerful insights into how we navigate an uncertain world. In the 21st century, Sartre's existentialist philosophy remains a compelling way to confront the meaning of life, as we continue to grapple with questions of identity, responsibility, and purpose in a rapidly changing post-religious world.